Hey guys, Victoria here, and I just came back from yet another vacation where I went to Harry Potter World. So, I'm going to tell you a few things about Harry Potter World. First of all, the lines are really long. So, my advice to you is to do single rider. You'll more than likely end up next to the person that you are planning on riding with, and if you aren't, you don't have to wait 90 minutes to get into Hogwarts. Just a really good deal. So this week's topic is, as an asexual, if I were to be dating a sexual person, would I be okay with them having sex outside of our relationship? And this is asking what I would do, in my opinion, so I'm going to give you my opinion and answer. No! And you may be thinking to yourself, well geez Victoria, you're an asexual and they're a sexual person, and that really isn't fair to them. You should either find somebody else who's asexual, agree to have sex with them, or let them have sex outside of the relationship so everybody wins. It doesn't quite work like that for me. Now, I've mentioned this in other videos before. The way I've always viewed sex is that it's something you do when you're in love with a person. Honestly, that's what I thought you did when it came to the topic of sex for the longest time. It was just you fell in love with somebody, and then you magically had the urge to be intimate and close with somebody. That's how I viewed it. And that still most definitely applies to today. If I were to be dating somebody or in a relationship with somebody, and we had been in a relationship for an extended period of time, probably a year or 2 years, who knows, maybe more, preferably more, because morally, well, not wait until marriage, I am wait until a really long time so you're certain they are incredibly special and the one. Anyway, if it came to that point where our relationship was that strong and we both had mutual loving, caring feelings for each other, and the other person expressed interest in having sex, I would probably have no problem with it at all, because it's just another way, in my opinion, to get closer to somebody. Because, I mean, you're literally at your most vulnerable points, and it's two people. I think it could be possibly splendid. So for me, sex really has nothing to do with sexual attraction. It's just I don't experience the attraction to want to have sex, but I'm not necessarily unwilling to, therefore their excuse or reason for wanting to have sex outside of the relationship would be completely irrelevant, which is why I'd have to say no to sex outside of a relationship in my case, because ultimately, when it comes to relationships, I'd like to find somebody with similar values to me who would be willing to wait until love and go from there. So if we couldn't work out in that sort of way, how would we work out long term? Because, you know, I like long term things, and if waiting a year isn't that big of a deal, then I'm probably not the right person to be with anyway. So that is my view on being asexual in a relationship with a sexual person and them having sex outside of a relationship. It may work for some people, but for me, I couldn't deal with it. It's just not something I would agree to. And it may sound selfish, but taking into account everything else I've said, I think it makes a little bit of sense why. That's all. See you next week.